So it's time. It's time for me to talk to you guys about my Fidelity Stella Rosa Lite 2. Time coming, not only since I ordered this guitar, but my sort of relationship with Matt and Fidelity goes back quite a long way. 4 or 5 years ago it was, Matt lent me 2 of his guitars, and they were 2 really cool guitars, and I fell in love with Fidelity and the whole brand. And then fast forward a year or 2, I met Matt again at the Birmingham Guitar Show, which is quite a big guitar show here in the UK. Played everything he had there. They were all slightly more refined, slightly more polished, better overall instruments. As good as any custom shop anything I'd ever played. I said to myself, right, it is finally time to order one of these guitars. He'd released the Stella Rosa body shape, which I love. The Stella Rosa is sort of Fidelity's, I guess, flagship model. It has all this custom hardware. It's this big old beastie boy, and the Lite 2 is a more stripped down version of that. The 2 meaning it has 2 pickups, so it has a solid obeshi body which is really lightweight and comfortable, and then you can pretty much spec it out from there. I chose a roasted maple neck, which is a really nice dark caramelized piece of wood, and then a wenge or a wenge, I think it's wenge but I've always said wenge, fretboard. And that is a standout piece on this guitar for me. It has a really nice fine grain and figuring to it. The neck he calls a medium trunky C. Bit more of a handful than you might expect, but again, incredibly comfortable. Compound radius as well to add to that comfort. 25-inch scale length as well, so slightly shorter than a standard Fender, but you still get that sort of snappiness. Before we do get into some clean tones, if you like the video and anything else on the channel, please subscribe, like, comment down below. It really helps the channel out. body. As I said, it's an obeshi body, which is a really interesting tone wood, incredibly lightweight. As I mentioned, I went with a Descendant vibrato, which is just about the best Jazzmaster type vibrato you can get. Rock solid. I went with a mini humbucker in the bridge, which is open sounding but still punchy. Has really become sort of the heart and soul of this guitar. I always know if I whack it into the bridge position, I'm going to get what I want. In the neck position, I went with a gold foil. I always knew I wanted a gold foil for something different, but I didn't really realise how different that gold foil is. It's such a crisp, kind of vintage, it's kind of crisp, but still lo-fi. It's a really interesting sound. 4-way rotary switch for the pickups, which includes like a series mode, so one pickup going into the other like a big fat humbucker. Believe it or not, this is pretty tame for Fidelity though. This is pretty close to a standard Light 2 spec. He can go crazy with these guitars and you can spec out pretty much anything. I'm sure Matt won't thank me for saying that. But for me, this is a really nice addition to my arsenal. It was also, because of the colour and the time that I ordered the guitar, it's a nice way to remember Dipswitch Demos and that period of the channel. Of course, you're going to see this a ton. I'm going to play it so much. I've already played more guitar in the past couple of weeks than I have in a long time, and it's because of this guitar and the inspiration it's given me, which is what it's all about, really, isn't it? Thanks, guys, for checking out the video. If you like what you saw, please subscribe and maybe check out some more, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, guys.